Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ben here with Out of Frame. So I just finished watching the very first episode of It, Welcome to Derry on HBO Max. Wanted to do a quick video to share some of my thoughts, a little bit of analysis, and some quick trivia tips so that when you watch the episode, you'll know exactly what to expect with this brand new series on HBO Max. So come on in, let's have a quick hang and do a quick analysis of the first episode of It, Welcome to Derry. So right off the bat, the number one thing with this first episode is that it starts off with a bang. It's a really visceral episode. There's a lot of gore in the show. And right off the bat, it really just kind of sets the tone with the very first scene in the movie. There's a live birth in a moving vehicle of a winged demon baby that you actually see come out of the mother in the car. It is crazy, it is wild, and you're just in for this crazy episode right from the very first scene. And it kind of sets the tone for what to expect. We're gonna be dealing with gore, we're gonna be dealing with a lot of horror elements, and it's just an unsettling scene that just kind of gets us started on this crazy ride. So we're introduced to 1960s Derry. We're here in Maine, Stephen King's regular stomping grounds, and we're at the height of the Cold War, and there's a lot of tension going on between Russia. You hear it kind of all over as we are introduced to one of our main characters. This is going to be Major Hanlon, which we can expect, I'm assuming, to be maybe Mike's grandfather from the It series of movies. He's just moved into Derry to do a secret mission with the Air Force. He doesn't exactly know what he's there for. When Major Hanlon shows up to the our Air Force base and he meets his new recruits, there's one recruit in particular who just doesn't salute him. So we can already tell that the filmmakers here are kind of layering a lot of the tension that we know existed in the world at this time. So far we have some of the Cold War tension with Russia and the nuclear scares that were happening. But not only that, a lot of racial tension is starting to be shown, and they're peeling this away layer by layer. And this is the first scene that we see that in. So one of the things you should know about me, or hopefully you'll know about me here very soon, is I love theme. I'm always digging, always sifting through story elements to really get where is the theme, what's the theme of the story. And to me, there's a really great line right in the midpoint of the episode where Major Hanlon is talking to the colonel of the Air Force Base. I wanted to share it with you because I thought it was a great line of dialogue. There's nothing wrong with this country that can't be fixed with what's right with this country. To me, that line stood out probably from the entire episode. I don't know exactly where we're going to go with that in terms of whether it's supposed to be ironic or whether that's just a glimmer of hope that the filmmakers are trying to kind of layer in or keep that thread moving throughout the entire portion of this portion of the episode, of the entire series itself. I really like that. To me, if I had to say, okay, so what's the theme stated in this section, that would probably stand out to me as being the most important theme that has been expressed, at least here in this first episode. So we're also introduced to the Losers Club 1.0, as I called them. As soon as I took my notes and I was getting ready to make the video, I said, hey, this is Losers Club 1.0. And you kind of see that they're working with some familiar tropes, some familiar, I guess you could say, trends from the It series of movies. We kind of have like a loudmouth, goofball, his name is Phil. We kind of have like an introspective, serious boy, his name is Teddy. And we have kind of like this outcast, kind of maybe, outcast girl named Lily, who are growing up in, I guess, the middle school or high school here in Derry. And right off the bat, I figured that they were kind of like the Losers Club 1.0. So in terms of building the scares, it was really cool because there's a scene where Lily is having, she's reminiscing about one of her last interactions with the kid who goes missing at the very beginning of the story. That kid's name is named Maddie. And so she was friends with Maddie, but Maddie was having a hard time, and he goes missing at the start of the story. Well, as she's reminiscing about the last time she was talking to him, she hears his voice coming from the drain. And that's going to be a big part. Obviously, it was a big part of the movie series and of the book. And I think it's going to keep going with this. So she's looking down into the drain. She thinks she hears Maddie singing a song from a movie he watched earlier in the episode. And then in one of the coolest shots of the entire movie, we see two fingers kind of peek out of the drain. and then kind of like a scream. And so to me, great visual element here. This really kind of gives us that terror and ties all of it in terms of what we can expect. So probably one of the most talked about parts of this first episode really has a very personal scare. So Teddy is talking to his dad and asks him a question in one of the portions of the movie. He's sitting there with his family. If he thinks a person could be being kept captive in the sewer, and the dad kind of tells him that as a Jewish family and of their Jewish faith, he tells them a brief history of the Holocaust and mentions how their family members and people who died in the Holocaust, their skin was, they were skinned and their faces were used as lampshades. And so this is totally shocking to Teddy when he's sitting there with dinner, and it kind of sets his line of thinking straight, because he's like, what? And you know, it's like a very traumatic thing that he hears his dad say. Well, the filmmakers turn this deeply personal, revelation to the character Teddy when Pennywise twists this into a horrific jump scare. So essentially what happens is that the lamp starts kind of flickering in Teddy's room, and then when he turns to turn it back on, the lampshade changes into a lampshade made of human faces that are screaming and moaning and trying to, speak, I guess you could say. Ah, dude, it was so cool. Kind of caused this crazy reaction from Teddy. He falls to the floor, and then the lampshade falls to the floor, and then it rolls to him, and then it stops right in front of him. And when it does, it gives out this moan, and the mouth tears open. And dude, I'm telling you, that is probably going to be, if you're thinking about what people are going to be talking about, one of the most iconic parts of this first episode. And to me, I'm like, dude, if they're going with this right at that very first episode, I think they're just going to keep brutalizing our characters over and over and over, and it's going to make for some pretty traumatic television for everybody watching it. All right, so one of the parts I think a lot of people are going to be talking about when they're talking about, yo, did you see last night's episode of the It TV show, is the climax. So I'm a former projectionist, so this meant a little bit extra to me to be able to see a movie theater used in the climax. Real quick, I'll break it down. The kids are investigating Phil, Teddy, and Lily, what might have happened to their friend Maddie, who has disappeared. They're looking through a library, and they figure out that the last place he was seen alive was at a movie theater. So they go and they track down a 12-year-old girl who is the daughter of the projectionist at the theater, and she's real defensive at first because the cops were trying to pin the murder of the kid Maddie on her dad, again kind of implying some racial overtones here within the story, and she wants nothing to do with those kids. So as Lily and her friends are walking away, they mention, wow, we heard Maddie's voice, and what are we going to do? And then the girl, she realizes that these kids also heard a voice coming from the pipes or the drains in the sewer. She had also been hearing those things. So she immediately agrees to help, and she says, let's go and go to the movie theater so I can show you the reel of the movie of the song that you heard Maddie singing in the drain. So they go into the theater and they're sitting down while the girl's up in the projection booth putting on the reel. She puts the film through and presses play, and they start watching it. And then in one of the coolest scenes, very reminiscent of part one, where the kids are looking at the slides in the garage kind of pop up and pop up and pop up. It did remind me a lot of that scene from It Chapter 1. They are watching the movie, and then in the background of the movie, we actually see Maddie alive inside of the movie. And he steps forward towards the camera, and everything just kind of goes very surreal at that point. And he is holding the winged demon baby that was born at the beginning of the movie in his hands. He basically blames the kids for not helping to save him, and then he unleashes the demon baby in one of the coolest scenes where he literally throws it from the inside of the movie through the theater, through the actual screen itself and into the theater. And this gigantic 6-foot winged baby, because it's as big as it was on the theater, that's how the size it comes out of, starts attacking all of them. And in one of the craziest twists I don't think anybody saw coming, the winged demon baby flying around actually kills Phil, actually kills Teddy and Phil's younger sister as well, who we were introduced to in the latter part of the episode, but Lily is spared because she is able to escape with the projectionist's daughter before she's murdered. So I'm like, what? Nobody is safe in this show. They killed literally two of the characters we were introduced to. Like I said earlier in the video, the Losers Club 1.0 has already been disbanded because Pennywise was able to kill two of them in this horrific massacre inside of the theater. So it's a great cliffhanger. The last shot of Lily screaming is Scream Queen icon written all over it. And you're left wondering, where do we go from here? They killed off two of these characters. They did such a great job in the episode getting us to really like these two kids and really start to care about them. And then for them to pull the rug out from us and to really just kill them off and get rid of them, I thought was one of the coolest things I've seen in a TV show that's really gonna hook me. And if you can't tell by now, I'm totally hooked and eager and waiting to watch the rest of the season. So overall, I give it Welcome to Derry, episode 1, an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good, a very solid, a very sharp pilot episode, and it really just leaves me wanting more, which is exactly what this type of episode is intended to do. It builds the universe, it sets the stakes. It really hooked me from the very first episode, and I think it's going to be great. The character work is amazing. Andy Muschietti, the director, somebody I'm very fond of and love his cinematic stylings, think he's on point with this entire series, and I can't wait to see where they're going to go with it. A couple of quick notes. Bill Skarsgård does not appear in this episode as Pennywise, but I did see on IMDb that he's in 5 out of the 6 episodes, so I can only assume that he's going to be a major part going forward in the series. Can't wait to see that, this big TV or this big movie star, on the small screen, bringing this character to life. I think this is going to be something that people are going to love. I think HBO is going to have a huge hit on their hands. Everyone's going to be talking about this show, and it's the perfect series to have at this time of the year, the spooky season as well. So what did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Do you think it lived up to the hype? Were you happy to see the Kingverse expanding and all these different crossovers? What was your favorite part? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to have a quick convo about it. I think it's always fun to comment and talk a little bit about what you guys thought of the episode as well. So I'll be back with episode 2's recap next week. And until then, please feel free to check out this video that you see right here. It's another analysis deep dive that I've done on a recent film so that we can keep the analysis train moving. And for now, my name is Ben with Out of Frame, and we'll see you back here next week with the recap for episode 2.